streamed on YouTube. The live streaming on YouTube is for reference purposes. None of you will be awarded any CPD point just by the fact that they've watched our presentation on YouTube. That is for reference purposes. For those who are asking for slides, the presentation slides, we are live streaming this presentation so that you can now check it out from our YouTube channel, such that you can do your references. You'll get actually the live presentation and all the explanations that the presenter is making concerning this particular presentation. So don't worry for any PowerPoint presentations. Afterwards, we have a YouTube channel. You are encouraged to subscribe to our YouTube channel such that after each and every presentation, you just get that a particular presentation has been uploaded on our YouTube. Feel welcome. Yeah, quite a number are joining. Yes, quite a number are joining. You can see Boniface Kimuyu. Boniface Kimuyu, feel welcome. Yes, I can see quite a number. Some are joining from abroad. Those the Melos that are taking various studies abroad, and they are also cognizant of renewing their license when they are back. We are very happy for you. So from where you are, let me say good morning to those who are abroad. Good evening to those who are in Kenya and various parts, and good afternoon to everyone. It is 3 p.m. and so you are officially welcomed, and we are officially starting this webinar. My name is George Okoth, and today I'm privileged to take you through this presentation as the moderator. Now, just a few things before we start. Number one, all the participants, the medical laboratory practitioners that are engaged right now, I mean that have joined right now, and some who are yet to join. There's a policy of 60% attendance, 60% attendance in terms of time. Ensure that you attend at least 60% of the webinar time or duration. This is in line with the regulations that KMLTB have put in place regarding the provision of CPD points. Secondly, these CPD points will be reported by the LMSK team. They'll be uploaded on the KMLTB CPD portal, and so there is no longer the self-reporting that our members were doing previously. In regards to that, each and everyone is required to ensure that the details that you provide to us are accurate so that there is no delay. If you give us inaccurate data, especially your KMLTB number and your email address, you realize that we will not be able to upload your points accordingly. And so there will be a lot of delays. To avoid that, help us, assist us in that manner. And again, the uploading of these CPD points, we will do the exercise within 24 hours and also send you your certificates within that time. If there will be any slight delay, that will go maybe up to around 2 or 1 hour delay, we will communicate accordingly. But we are doing our best to ensure that we serve you and we give you excellent services as far as CPD provision is concerned. Once again, feel welcome. My name is George Okoth, and on behalf of the Lab Medicine Society of Kenya, privileged to bring this webinar session at this moment. And the topic for today is detection of methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus in clinical samples using different methods. And our presenter today is Mr. Anthony Kuria. Mr. Anthony Kuria is a medical laboratory practitioner practicing at KNH, the Department of Microbiology. He's coming with a lot of experience, wealth of knowledge that each and every one of us would like to acquire. So I'd call each and every one of us to be keen. If you have any question, kindly use the Q&A section to type your questions. And in that regard, we will ensure that you are adequately equipped as much as detection of methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus is concerned. Thank you very much. At this point, allow me to welcome Mr. Anthony Kuria to take the mantle at this moment and start presenting. Mr. Anthony, feel welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on the topic detection of MRSA in clinical samples using different
thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. I think you can move closer to your mic so that your voice can, the volume or the voice, the projection can be well received by participants, and then your presentation to be in presentation mode or PowerPoint mode. Thank you.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Proceed. Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. You can proceed. Thank you. The presentation is clear. Thank you. Welcome. Proceed.
Our topic today is on detection of MRSA in clinical samples using different methods. A brief introduction. Over 90% of Staph aureus are resistant to penicillin. Methicillin-resistant Staph aureus are resistant to all beta-lactam-based antibiotics, including cephalosporins and carbapenems. And resistance to beta-lactam antibiotics is due to, 1, beta-lactamase enzyme, which is induced by beta-lactam antibiotics, the presence of MRSA gene, or the presence of MRSA gene. Resistance to MRSA has spread to include macrolides like erythromycin, lincosamides such as clindamycin, and globally, MRSA prevalence varies greatly, both intra and inter-country. Here, you find different countries are reporting different prevalences of MRSA, which ranges from 25% to more than 50%. High prevalence have been reported from Asia, Malta, North and South America. Africa has reported a prevalence of between 21 and 47%. And Staph aureus belongs to high priority group according to CDC WHO list of the most dangerous pathogens. Our objectives. At the end of this presentation, we hope the audience should appreciate the various methods for detection of MRSA, know the sources of errors in reporting MRSA, and know the treatment options for MRSA. Then other resistant genes for methicillin-resistant Staph aureus include, we have MRSA gene, which has been found on plasmids in Macrococcus cassiolyticus, and an MRSA isolate from a human. The novel MRSA gene, which confers resistance to all beta-lactam antibiotics, has also been isolated in that Macrococcus cassiolyticus isolated from bovine and canine origins. Clinical significance of this, that MRSA gene is mediated resistance can lead to reduced susceptibility to some beta-lactam antibiotics, including those used to treat MRSA infections. And then it can be transferred, the MRSA and MRSD genes, having been identified on plasmids, suggesting the potential for horizontal gene transfer, including transfer to Staph aureus. What we are saying, although MRSD and MRSB are from animal origin, there is a possibility that they can be transferred to Staph aureus, and hence they can also be of clinical significance. Methicillin-resistant Staph aureus results from transformation of methicillin-susceptible Staph aureus when Staphylococcus cassette chromosome MEC is inserted in the chromosome gene open leading frame of the Staphylococcus chromosome. Staphylococcus cassette chromosome MEC is a mobile genetic element that bears the only mediator for the methicillin resistant, that is the MRSA or MRSC gene. Healthcare-associated methicillin-resistant Staph aureus serotypes cause nosocomial infections and belong to Staphylococcus cassette MEC type 1, 2, or 3, whereas community-associated methicillin-resistant Staph aureus carries the shorter Staphylococcus cassette MEC type 4 and type 5, conferring only low-level methicillin resistance and lacking additional resistant genes. Livestock-associated methicillin-resistant Staph aureus is a type of antibiotic-resistant bacteria primarily found in livestock, and it can be transmitted to humans, particularly those in close contact with animals such as pigs and poultry. Why is it important to detect MRSA? So, globally, MRSA is responsible for high mortality and morbidity. So accurate diagnosis is critical for prompt management of cases, for infection control, reduction of costs resulting from a prolonged hospital stay, and unnecessary use of antibiotics. So isolation of Staph aureus. Staph aureus can be isolated from various specimens such as blood cultures, where you can culture on sheep blood agar, chocolate blood agar, or maconche. You can also isolate it from pus swabs, which can be cultured on SBA and maconche, or tracheoaspirates, sputum, acidic fluids, SBA, where you can culture this on SBA, chocolate, and maconche. You can also isolate it from urine, which should be cultured on clad medium. And all the plates can be incubated at 35 to 37 degrees Celsius for 18 to 24 hours. Let us now, let's talk of the detection methods for MRSA. We have one, the most commonly used, that is cefoxitin disc diffusion method. Cefoxitin is a cephalosporin that induces modified penicillin binding protein, that is PBP, which codes for MRSA gene. Zones of inhibition in millimeters are interpreted according to CRSI guidelines, where a zone of 21 millimeter and below is interpreted as resistant, whereas a diameter of above 22 or greater is interpreted as susceptible. The cefoxitin disc diffusion method for detecting MRSA so to increase the detection of heteroresistant strains of Staph aureus, the following procedures should be advised. The plates should be incubated at between 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. Then the media, you should utilize media comprising 5% sodium chloride. That is, if you want to enhance the detection. You can use a heavier inoculum other than the commonly used 0.5. In this case, you can raise the inoculum slightly to 0.6 microfarad, as well as prolonging incubation time to 48 hours. Disk diffusion tests reliably detect MRSA when performed at temperatures below 30 and 35 degrees Celsius. And the cefoxitin is also employed in the automated systems like the Vitek 2 or Phoenix or any other automated system. And in this case, it is used as a screen, which is usually used in combination with oxacillin. Now we talk of the automated systems like the Vitek 2, where a tube of 0.5 microfarad standard inoculum of the suspected Staphylococcus colonies is loaded into Vitek 2 with a GP identification card, and a roughly 1 in 10 dilution of the same is tested for sensitivity. After 6 to 8 hours, the results for both identification and sensitivity are obtained. Automated systems use both cefoxitin and oxacillin MIC to identify MRSA, as I earlier said, and this combination improves the sensitivity. The results are in 3 possible outcomes. One, you can have a case where oxacillin is sensitive, that is an MIC of below 2, plus or minus of below 2, and a cefoxitin above 4 microgram. And that one is interpreted as resistant, that is MRSA. Another scenario is where you have oxacillin resistant, that is an MIC of equals to or greater than 4, and a cefoxitin greater than or equal to 8. That means that's a resistant and hence MRSA. The third option is where you have both oxacillin and cefoxitin as sensitive. Now, the other method of detection is latex agglutination method. And this latex agglutination test is a rapid and convenient method for detecting MRSA. It works by identifying the presence of penicillin-binding protein, the modified type, a protein encoding the MRSA gene, which confers resistance to methicillin. The test involves mixing a bacterial sample with the latex pardon. Okay, the test involves mixing a bacterial sample with the latex particles coated with antibodies specific to penicillin binding protein. Agglutination or clumping of the latex particles indicates the presence of modified penicillin binding protein and thus MRSA. The other method is the molecular method. We have a multiplex PCR for detection of MRSA and MRSA by Heinz live probes. That is one of the example. But in this case, you just follow the manufacturer's recommendations, where basically involves 3 steps. That is DNA extraction from the cultured material. There is a multiplex amplification of the biotinylated primers and a reverse hybridization of the DNA strip. That is when you're using such kits like the genotype MRSA from Heinz Life Science. and then you read with a twin incubator machine. The other method is where you use chrome agar, which makes use of coloring agents in the medium to identify the MRSA and is used by some laboratories. There are different types of the chrome agar depending with the company, and you also need to check the color for the MRSA according to the kit. According to the chrome agar. Now, the factors that may affect the antimicrobial sensitivity testing. We have one, the purity of cultures. In the case of MRSA, coagulase negative staphylococci may lead to false positive results. This is because you may find a lot of resistance is found in the coagulase negative staphylococci, or even other bacteria like enterococci. When you have a Staphylococcus aureus culture that has a mixture of such, then you may end up calling MRSA, which is a falsely. In this case, purity of culture should be ascertained before the setting of the AST. The other area is the potency of the antibiotic discs used. You should always ensure the antibiotic discs are potent by use of the control organisms, which should be performed prior to the setting of AST. In this case, you can use such strains like ATTC 29-213, or when you're using the automated system, or when you're using the manual method, you can use the ATTC 25-923. That is for medicine-sensitive Staph aureus. For the MRSA, you can use the strains such as ATTC 43-300. You also need to be conscious of the inoculum density. In this case, if you are using the disc diffusion method, 0.5 microfarads is recommended, and you should also ensure that you are certain that you are dealing with 0.5 or not anything less or more. The other cause of error is when you fail to follow the proper SOP or the CRSI guidelines. Now, let us look at the treatment options for MRSA. Glycopeptide agents such as vancomycin, teicoplanin, vincristine, dalfopristin, and linezolid, they are used to treat hospitalized patients with complicated soft tissue infections. The oral options for less severe infections include trimethoprim with sulfamethoxazole, which is normally called cotrimoxazole. You can use doxycycline, minocycline, or clindamycin. For localized infections such as boils or abscesses, surgical drainage may be performed in addition to or instead of antibiotic treatment. So MRSA infections are treated with antibiotics to which the specific strain is susceptible. What we are saying is, you don't treat MRSA empirically without an antibiogram report, because that by the time you realize that it was MRSA, the patient may be dead. So it's best to treat according to antibiogram, and you choose the antibiotic for which the strain is susceptible. That is the end of my short presentation.
Thank you very much, our presenter, Anthony. This is an area that is actually very important, because as you've just seen, I mean, the members, as you've just seen the presentations, quite clear and to the point. And we are really grateful, Mr. Anthony, for these wonderful presentations. So at this point, I would urge our participants to, if anyone has any question, kindly use our Q&A section to just type your question. Additionally, you see there are some questions that can only sound better when they are verbalized. So for those who'd like to just speak out their questions, kindly feel free to raise up your hands, and then I will give you the opportunity just to speak out your question, and our presenter will capture your question and then give you or give us the answers to the questions accordingly. So the floor is open, each and everyone. At this time, we have this question. David Chege has a question, and David Chege is asking, is there promising therapies for MRSA? Is there promising therapies for MRSA? Yeah, Mr. Anthony.
Yeah, we do have promising therapy in the case, like in the case of fourth generation cephalosporins, such as ceftaroline. Mostly the MRSA is treated with vancomycin. Ceftaroline is a promising fourth generation cephalosporin.
Great. Another question, Victor Ongai. I think I'll just read it the way it is. Are there some strains of Staphylococcus aureus that can grow in Chromag agar that can produce similar color, leading to false identification of MRSAs? Are there some strains of Staph aureus that can grow in Chromag agar?
Well,
And that, yes, proceed. Thank you.
If I got the question right, asking if there are strains of Staph aureus that can grow on Chrome agar.
Yes.
But by reading of if it is a Staph aureus and it is growing on Chrome agar, and it gives the color that is expected of MRSA for that Chrome agar, then it is MRSA. Because Chrome agar, apart from the coloring agents, usually contains cefoxitin in various concentrations, mostly between 4 to 6 micrograms, which is the one that we use like in the automated systems. And that one should be able to take care of any other sensitive strains. So whatever will be growing on Chrome agar and has the color that is coded for the MRSA should be MRSA.
Thank you very much. Geno Peter is asking this question. Describe the molecular basis of methicillin-resistance in Staph aureus and explain how this resistance mechanism can lead to false negative results in phenotypic detection methods. Songeno is asking you to describe some molecular basis of MRSA. And in addition to that, you explain how that resistance mechanism can lead to false negative results in phenotypic detection methods. Over to you, Mr. Anthony.
Yeah, sometimes we do have, as I had said earlier, the genes that code for MRSA, we have MEC-A and we also have MEC-C, mostly for the clinical isolates. And MEC-C may give that outcome, especially if you're using the automated method where oxacillin will be sensitive, whereas cefoxitin is positive. So in this case, if you are using oxacillin alone, you may have false phenotypic sensitive when you are actually dealing with MRSA, because cefoxitin is superior to oxacillin. It's a surrogate for oxacillin, but it is able to detect both the oxacillin sensitive MRSA and the typical MRSA.
Great. Thank you very much for that. I can see Dorcas Wanjiru has raised her hand. I would like Dorcas to just speak out a question. Dorcas, kindly unmute and then ask your question or comment. Dorcas, if you're there, I can see your hand is up and you've been given the right to speak. Once again, and finally, Dorcas, if you can hear, or Dorcas Wanjiru. Okay, good. Let me give this opportunity to Alex Waswa. Alex Waswa. Alex Waswa, just unmute and speak out your comment or question. All right, it seems Alex is not able to speak. We'll continue with the written questions that are there in our Q&A section. Now, David Chepkuto is asking, kindly clarify growth of Staphylococci on McConkey. Clarify growth of Staphylococci on McConkey. Over to you, Mr. Anthony.
I've not gotten the question correctly. I'm supposed to describe.
Yeah, the questions David is asking about the growth of Staphylococci on McConkey when they are inoculated on McConkey. How do you describe their growth if they will actually grow? I think that's what David is asking about.
Oh, now I get it. Staphylococci growing on McConkey may present in two forms mostly. We may have a strain that produces the chromatic strain, that is golden yellow pigment. There are those majority of Staphylococcus aureus ferments lactose, so they will be appearing as lactose fermenters. They are small in size. I don't know if I have answered the question.
Good, good, thank you. We hope that David Chepkuto, you've got the precise answer about the growth of Staphylococci on McConkey. Keith Kiprop, at some point he talked about quality control Now, Kate is asking, how frequently are control used? How frequently are control used?
Quality control.
Yes.
Mostly it depends on the SOP, because if you have stated that you do it twice per month, if you're using the automated systems, somebody auditing the lab should be able to see the evidence that QC is done twice per month. But if you change the antibiotics, if you are doing the whatever, whether it is automated or manual method, if you have a new batch of antibiotics, it is desirable that you run those antibiotics with the quality control strains, and the QC must pass for you to proceed to use those antibiotics.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much on that. Away from Q&A, LMSK has taken this juncture to improve on service delivery and also on how the medical laboratory practitioners can easily access the registration and also their participation in our webinars. And so we are glad to inform you that we have created a portal on our website where all the medical laboratory practitioners are required to register, and so they will be accessing the registration of our webinars just at clicks of buttons. This will ease the registration and also your participation in our webinars. And so if you look at our charts, there are links that have been sent there. The link that the medical laboratory practitioners can use, and not only medical lab practitioners, even the practitioners in other professions. For example, the ones that are practicing within the profession of pharmaceuticals, you are also eligible to register on our portal. So use that link and follow the prompts as it gives you or directs you. In addition to that, these links are shared on our WhatsApp groups. And so we are also encouraging our members, the medical laboratory practitioners, all the participants, to belong to our WhatsApp group. We communicate a lot of things in our WhatsApp groups, and we encourage each and everyone to grasp all the communications at a go. So this will enhance your participation. It will enhance the gaining of knowledge that each and every one of us is required of, and generally interaction as medical laboratory practitioners in Kenya. So this is very important for you. I repeat once again that LMSK has taken a good stride and a wonderful, tremendous stride to launch a portal that will house all the professionals such that registration and participation in our webinars will be enhanced and everything will be eased. So ensure that you register accordingly, and in connection to that, the details that you put there, including your name, your email address, the phone number, the KML-TTB registration number, ensure that they are correctly entered. Once again, the KML-TTB number starts with a letter and all others are numbers. There is no O, it is 0, like A0, 1, 2, 2, proceeding like that. So don't put an O, it is A0. There's some that starts with double M and the rest are numbers. So our system will capture your registrations as they are. And if there'll be any error, then you will be called upon to rectify them by yourself. And so this will ease everything. It will be just a one-time registration. There will be no multiple registrations for each and every webinar. It will be a one-time registration for each and every one of us. And so for the subscribing to the upcoming webinars, you'll just be logging into your portal and then accessing the webinar page just at a click of a button or a tap of tabs. Thank you very much for that. Ensure that you also share this link wherever you find it to your fellow colleagues. Thank you very much for that. We'll continue sharing the link and also our WhatsApp group so that those who are not in any of our WhatsApp group to join one of the WhatsApp groups. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for listening. One final announcement is that this presentation is schematic to be accredited and it will attract 3 CPD points. We'll do the reporting of these CPDs for you. And so don't worry, just sit back and then we'll share the certificates of participation to each and everyone who will have merited. For you to merit for the award of the CPD points and also the certificate, you're supposed to attend this webinar for at least 60% of the duration of this webinar. So ensure to attend this webinar adequately. For you to be on the safe side of the regulation, just attend the entire webinar. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for listening. Let's go back to our questions. Faris Kaumbudhu. Faris Kaumbudhu is appreciating our presenter and she's saying, thank you, Anthony, for a good presentation. In addition to this, there's a question attached to that. And the question is, between oxacillin and cefoxitin, which is a confirmatory drug for MRSA, between oxacillin and just written the way it is, cefoxitin, which is the confirmatory drug for MRSA. If you could respond, Mr. Anthony.
Yeah, cefoxitin is the confirmatory drug for MRSA. As we have seen, we have a case where we have strains which are sensitive to oxacillin but resistant to cefoxitin, and they are interpreted as MRSA on the basis of cefoxitin. Is that clear?
And again, the same person asking the question, do the size of MIC, apart from the breakpoints, have any scientific significance? Do the size of minimum inhibition concentration, or MIC, apart from the breakpoints, have any scientific significance?
If I get the question correct, whether breakpoints have scientific significance?
No, he's asking the size.
The size?
Yes, the size of MIC.
The size of MIC, by definition, minimum inhibitory concentration. Or what really matters is whether the organism is sensitive or resistant. I have heard such arguments, like somebody selecting the one with the lowest MIC, but that does not really matter. What matters is whether the antibiotic is sensitive, or the organism is sensitive or resistant to the antibiotic.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I hope Faris Kaumbudhu has got the answers right. At this point, I'd like to shift gears to the participants who would like to speak out their questions or comments. And on my list, I can see Joel Wafula. Joel Wafula, you can kindly unmute and air your point or question. Thank you.
I want just to get clarified. The presenter has talked about Makongi supporting growth of Staph aureus. Which type of Makongi? Because we have those that do not support.
Makonke agar that has Cristovirus does not support gram-positives because it is designed for use on stool bench, mostly for the isolation of E. coli and tropopathogenic E. coli. So if you are using the Makonke that has Cristovirus, then you are likely not to miss gram-positive. So you should choose the Makonke that does not have Cristovirus. The general, usually there are various types of formulations, but there is a general purpose Makonke that does not have Cristovirus that supports generally of gram-positive and gram-negatives.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I'll give Sarah. Yes.
Hello.
An
input, Charles. An input.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, there's somebody who has asked about the MIC. I think the question the person is asking is all about the disc infusion, where you can measure the size, then you can report against the ranges according to the CLSI guidelines. With the MIC, we just report sensitive, intermediate, or resistant. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you to Joel Ofula for your input. This is quite wonderful. And actually, if anyone has an input, feel free just to shoot your hand up and then we'll see it from this end. And then we'll give you the platform and the airtime for you to speak. Next is Sarah Ambia. Sarah Ambia, if you can hear me, you are welcome to speak out your point. If it is a comment, a question, or strengthening a point that our presenter has just presented. Anything, please, Sarah? Thank you. You can just speak, can say you are unmuted already, but we can't hear your voice. We can't hear you clearly, Sarah. Could you project your voice? Try speaking.
Okay.
Great. Proceed.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you sound and clear. Proceed, please.
Okay. Sarah Ampe from Busia County, specifically Alupe Laboratory. I want to thank you, Anthony, for that informative information that you have given unto us concerning the Staphylococcus, Methicillin-Resistant Staphylococcus. I have learned a lot, and I hope this information shall help me to continue carrying out my microbiological tests wherever I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for your appreciation. We are very glad that you are here and feel much welcome. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Wonderful. We are switching gears to the listeners, the medical laboratory practitioners who've just texted their questions. And at this point, Lillian Kosgei is asking a question. Is Staphylococcus aureus an STI? I think these are no. It is not an STI. Lillian Kosgei. Anonymous attendee is asking, you have outlined methods for MRSA. I'm just reading it the way it is. It might sometimes lack some meaning, but we'll get the meaning. You have outlined methods for MRSA. Which method is highly recommended and affordable? I think
Can I answer?
the attendee is trying to seek for the methods for detection of MRSA or something like that. Mr. Anthony, kindly.
Yes, the method that is highly recommended is cefoxitin disc diffusion method. This is because it is cheap and accurate. It is actually comparable to molecular techniques in detection of MRSA.
Good. Straight to the point. Thank you very much. Danson Murimi. Danson Murimi has given a lengthy statement here. I'll just read it and extract the question out of it. Staph aureus is a gram-positive cocci, and MRSA allows growth of gram-negative organisms, inhibiting the growth of gram-positive organisms. Kindly specify the type of MRSA you are referring to, with salts or without. So I think McConkey agar, specify the type of McConkey agar that you are referring to. Is it the one with salts or without?
Well, I think I had earlier answered a similar question concerning McConkey. McConkey that inhibits gram-positive usually has crystoviolet, 0.5 grams per liter of crystoviolet included in the formula. So when you are purchasing McConkey, you should make sure you don't purchase that if you intend to use it for isolation of gram-positive. Then I also said there is a general purpose McConkey that supports both gram-positive and gram-negative. Like if you have, you're purchasing from a company like Oxide, they usually have a code like C007. Today, I think they have modified to C007B. That kind of McConkey. If you go to the website of the suppliers, they will give you the codes for various types of McConkey, and there is a description to that code. It specifies what that formula is supposed to help in the isolation. So the McConkey I would recommend is the general purpose. If you are purchasing from, like I've said, companies like Oxide, they have given the codes like C007B. That is the McConkey that supports both gram-positive, gram-negative. And again, you avoid the McConkey that has crystoviolet if you intend to isolate gram-positive.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. This is quite precise. That's great. And so, Rachel Kimani is asking, urine culture on clade will get other organisms, but on SBA will get Staph aureus. I think this is not a question, it's just a statement. Thank you very much, Rachel Kimani. We'll go to David Chege, who is asking, what is the prevalence of MRSA in Kenyan population? And what are the effective infection control measures that can be adopted? Yes, David Chege is asking about the prevalence of MRSA in Kenyan population and also some of the effective infection control measures that can be adopted.
Well,
Yes,
on the first question of prevalence, if we are to go by the data that I have come across, the prevalence of MRSA ranges between 35 to 50% currently. currently is even around 50%. And again, from my presentation, I said there is quite a great variance in reported prevalence. Some in even instances where people are reporting more than 60%.
Wow.
So that is on the prevalence. Then the other problem we have, we cannot be able to generalize for the whole country because we do have data, but we have very little information because the data we have, we are sitting on it as the laboratory professionals. We are not processing that data to generate information that can be collected to have a general representation of the country. So we can only be able to tell from the few published studies, and that's what I'm quoting. So that is a major handicap. But if now that there is a national agency that is doing surveillance, maybe we hope we will be able to have a more accurate prevalence that is representative of the country. But my dear, we have very few places where microbiology, actually bacteriology, is being practiced. So that will also not be very useful when it comes to projecting for the whole country. On control, the control of MRSA, the first thing that is recommended is hand washing, because most of the MRSA is spread by the healthcare professionals. So hand hygiene is one of the recommended measures. You don't move, and then there is the barrier methods. You use gloves, and you don't move from one patient to the next, so that you don't spread the MRSA or the bugs from patient to patient. Then there is decontamination of services, mostly screening of carriers, and where they are found to harbor the bugs, they can be treated. Those are some of the control measures I would recommend.
Thank you very much. That's quite wonderful. And I hope Emmanuel Wekesa has got a full dose of answers on about the question that he just asked. We are switching gears to those who would like to just speak out their comments or questions. And here we have Sarah Ambia. Sarah Ambia, I think now she's ready to tell us something. Sarah Ambia, you can just unmute. Just unmute and talk. Once again, Sarah, if you can hear us, if you can hear my voice, you have something to say, and you did not just raise your hand by, accidentally, you can just unmute. Last round, good. Kindly speak.
Okay, I was saying about the QC. I had Anthony saying, you know, QC, it depends on which setup you are and which method are you using. So, and also it depends on the SOP of the setup. So if your SOP is talking about 2 weeks, regardless of new drugs, you will just do the QC. I think that is my take on QC. It doesn't mean that if you have new drugs when you do QC, you have just to do QC regardless of new drugs, regardless of any new. You do it to make sure that your drugs and medias are really working well. That's what I can say.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that input. Actually, you see, science is evolving, and nothing is cast on stones. And every modification is welcome. And by that, thank you very much, Sarah Ambia, for that input, of which is full of science. Thank you very much. John Wahome. John Wahome, if you can hear me, you can unmute and just talk to us.
Hello.
Yes, please proceed. I can hear you sound and clear.
Good evening to all.
Good evening.
Yes, this is John Karumba from Turkana.
Wonderful, great.
Yes, I was pleading with you guys. Since
Yes.
sometimes the network is a bother here in Turkana, you can kindly be giving us an allowance, because like this one, this webinar, the phone was the network was kind of disturbing, and I met everything was done, and and I noted everything was being done, and there was a thank you. So kindly, you can be giving us an allowance of time, either 20 or thereabout. So I have one question for Anthony.
Yes.
Okay.
What is the correlation with the Is there any correlation with MSRA with
MRSA, yes.
yes, with this test of assault tests? Because kind of especially in Lodwa, when in Turkana you kind of do an assault test, either the ages between either 5 onwards, you kind of get a positive, and we've been asking question because why there is a lot of positive in assault. So I'm asking, is there any correlation with MSRA and the, because strictly, if I'm not wrong, the assault test, the rheumatism sometimes is caused by both the staph and the streptococcal pyogenes.
Well.
Yes,
Wonderful. I hope, yes, Wahome, I hope our presenter, Mr. Anthony, has just noted your question, and he should be ready to attend to you.
Yes, can I answer?
Yes.
Methicillin-resistant Staph aureus coordination with assault, I can say their assault is caused mostly by Streptococcus pyogenes, or it's usually as a result of post-streptococcal infections. And that is, the kit is supposed to be specific for anti-streptococcal antibody. So I can say correlation, don't see the relation, but maybe there could be some correlation if you are having a lot of gram-positive infections. In this case, you have streptococcal and maybe as well as staphylococcal infections. When both are high, you could say that is the only correlation will be on the basis of the prevalence. But for the test, I think it's more specific for streptococcal infections. But we may do some studies. If you could maybe help us in that regard, you try to see whether, because that is a scientific query. You need to show that correlation between the streptococcal infection and staphylococcal in this case.
Wonderful. I hope, Mr. Wahome John, you've got some clarifications, and I think you can confirm if you are sorted. Yeah, you are unmuted. So you can just unmute and just say something. As we are in that process, for those who are joining us at this particular moment, or those who joined us just some few minutes ago, we are very glad that you are here. And we're also very glad that we are taking steps as LMSK to ensure that our service delivery as far as CPD provision is concerned is being streamlined to align well with the needs of each and every participant, each and every medical laboratory practitioner, or any other practitioner that would like to take part in our webinars. In this regard, LMSK, we have revamped our system, and we have put up a portal, created a portal that will capture your details. So you are invited to sign up on our portal. If you look at the messages, we have just communicated a link to you. We've sent a link. You can just check your message in the inbox. There is a link that will take you to our CPD module or our CPD portal, where you will register. You will give a one-off registration, such that after that, you will just be signing into that portal and then joining our webinars without any interruption. You'll just be making payments just at a click of a button. You'll also be downloading your certificates just at a click of button, and we'll be improving each and every time so that all your needs are catered for, including those who are in areas that might be experiencing internet connectivity issues. Your cases will be well integrated in our system, such that you will not be finding any further difficulties. And even now, I think we have from 4:30 and between 4:30 to 12 noon the following day to watch the recording of a particular webinar. So for those who are in such areas, just ensure that you try as much as possible to attend the live webinar. If you have maybe some difficulties and you've attempted, it's not going through, you can also consider making use of the recording, which will really assist. And after that, you can also use for reference purposes, for educational purposes, there is a perpetual presentation that we leave on YouTube. That one you can watch at any time, at any pace, just for reference purposes, for educational purposes. We don't share the slides, but we share the presentation as a whole on our YouTube channel. So ensure that you follow our channel, follow us on our YouTube channel, so that you can make good use of this content that we are creating. Thank you very much for that. And we are hoping for the best as we move ahead. Now we are switching gears to questions. And so there are a lot of questions in here. We hope that time will give us a nod so that we explore and answer all of these questions. So Angela Ochana. Angela Ochana has written to us, what is the cost of these alternative methods for detection of MRSA other than culture, and are they available in the market for other organisms? Yes. Angeline is asking around 3 questions at a go. 1, what is the cost of the alternative methods for detection of MRSA other than culture? And the next part, are these methods available in the market for other organisms? Mr. Anthony, kindly.
Well, the methods we have talked of, basically, I see none that does not involve culture, because even the molecular method, you still require the culture of the suspected MRSA. But as I can say, cefoxitin is readily available and very, very affordable. And that is, it's like as accurate as the molecular. Molecular methods are expensive, like the one I described there. A single kit is about 1,000 shillings. So to do that test, you need at least 1,000 shillings. And that excludes the cost for culture. The other method, like the latex, is also not very cheap. Availability, most of even the Chromega, you still have to import. The only thing that is available locally is for those who have the automated system, we have the cards, the Phytech, the Phoenix, and the like. They are available as per the FEDA of the machines. But for the latex, you still have to import if you require it. But mostly those ones are used for research. For the routine, we recommend cefoxitin, and I said it is as accurate as any other method, 100% comparable to molecular.
Thank you very much. This is great. Guto Malak is asking this question. What is the difference between hospital-acquired MRSA and community-acquired MRSA? What is the difference between hospital-acquired MRSA and community-acquired MRSA?
Well, as the names suggest, the first difference, hospital acquired is MRSA that a patient who on admission and greater than 72 hours had no such isolate, that is assumed to have been hospital acquired. The patient did not come with the disease. And that one is one that is occurring after 72 hours after hospitalization. The community acquired MRSA, on the other hand, mostly is associated with the community. In this case, you have the sporting teams coming up with infections such as boils, and these mostly are, you find they have not had any history of hospitalization. So that is the first difference. The other difference, we have also molecular differences, where, as I said, the molecular differences, you find the community-acquired MRSA may have such toxins like PVL, that is pantofluorenone leukocyte, a toxin that mostly destroys leukocytes, whereas the hospital-acquired is not mostly associated with that. Although the distinction between community and hospital-acquired is becoming thinner, because the community-acquired MRSA, when imported to the hospitals, will still cause the disease. So community, again,
Yes.
community-acquired MRSA tend to be more susceptible to the routinely used antibiotics for the treatment of Staphylococcus aureus, whereas the hospital-acquired usually is more or less resistant to a majority
Wonderful.
of antibiotics.
Wonderful, wonderful. I like the wealth of knowledge and full package information. Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony, for that. There's someone who is asking, are there vaccines available against MRSA? Is it yes or no? Are there vaccines that are available outside here that can be used against MRSA?
Not that I have come across.
Good. I think it's a no, and progress is done towards that. Science is dynamic. Amy Rotich is asking, how will you ensure the purity of the culture plate in order to get the required results? The purity of the culture plates. When you're doing the culturing the MRSA, the plates are supposed to be pure or sterilized. So how will you ensure, or how will one ensure that the plate is actually pure or sterile for one to get or acquire good results?
That's a good question. I would say first, the technique, the culturing technique, you must do streaking for isolation, so that in the event you have a mixed growth, you are able to see the various distinct colonies of the different organisms on the plate. Then the other thing, most of the Staphylococcus aureus, if you are using the blood agar media, sheep blood agar or any blood agar in that case, tend to be beta hemolytic on the blood agar. In this case, when you have done the proper streaking for isolation, you are able to see distinct colonies of whether they are of 3 types on that plate. You're able to see them on their own. Then you can be able to do what you call a purity plate, where you just pick one isolated colony of the suspected Staphylococcus, and then you can streak that on a fresh EA plate. That is how you get a pure culture. And that is what we call the purity plate.
Great. Thank you very much. I can also see Anna Wenaina was also asking the same question that you've answered on how one can check for the purification of the media. No, that's the plate. This, I think, is another question altogether. How can you check for the purification of the media? How do you ensure that the media that you're using is purified or is pure or sterile?
Well, the question is how you can get to know the sterile media.
Yes, how can you check the purification of the media?
The first thing with the culture media have known lifespan depending on storage. If you are using media such as blood agar, which are very old, they are likely to be contaminated. But freshly prepared media And when they are properly prepared, they should be sterile. And then before you streak, you look for evidence of colonies, because an unsterile plate, you have a colony growing on. If you are very observant, you should be able to see. But the key is you should not use very old plates. And if you have to use media that are not freshly prepared, then you should check for evidence of contaminants, that is colonies growing before you even inoculate your media.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. One is asking, I think this is quite, some people might wonder, why is sheep blood recommended to be used to prepare, let me just start over. Why is sheep blood recommended to be used in preparation of media, not goat blood?
Well, that aspect of the goat, anyway, the reason sheep blood is recommended is studies on various types of blood show that sheep blood best demonstrate hemolysis than the other media, because previously we were using not goat but human. We are using human blood from spines, that is the ones that are for transfusion when they expire. But they had to be screened to ensure their safety. But that was discontinued on recommendation of WHO, because the aspect of first, we were only screening for a few viruses or microorganisms. There could be others which were not screening. That is, there was a risk. Then the other issue was use of antibiotics. By mostly you find, like today, you don't have volunteer donors. So you you call donors from relatives, and since they have to donate, whether they had taken antibiotics or not, those effects of antibiotics will affect our cultures. So that is why human blood was not recommended. For the other, as I have said, the other types of blood, we have had instances of rabbit blood, but I have not heard of goat, or we have also had an instance where we have used horse blood, but mostly horse blood is recommended for use on chocolate, not BA. So sheep blood, in short, is the best for demonstration of hemolysis.
Wonderful. That's very great. And we are moving on so well. This is quite encouraging. This question, once again, when using the latex method, are the colonies used as the sample? The latex method, when using the latex method, I think when one is using latex method to detect MRSA, are the colonies that are in your plate, are they the ones that are used as the sample? Yeah, I think
the answer is yes.
Great. Straight to the point. The answer is yes. And then next, can other types of Staph aureus species be considered as MRSA using cefoxitin? Can other types of Staph species be considered as MRSA using cefoxitin?
Other types of Staphylococci, other than Staph aureus?
Yes.
They cannot. We have methicillin-resistant coagulase negative staphylococci. And they even tend to have a higher prevalence of resistance than Staphylococcus aureus. And that's why we say, make sure you are using a culture that is not mixed. That is a culture that is purely Staphylococcus aureus, because those coagulase negative may interfere with our cefoxitin.
Tafunga blanco.
Yes. But that is what I had earlier explained, that it is one of the use of mixed culture is one of the areas where one of the reasons we have false MRSA, where you need the resistance is actually coming from the coagulase negative rather than the Staphylococcus aureus.
Thank you very much. On mixed growth of microbes, this is Livingstone Kivuti. On mixed growth of microbes, is there any specific media to use and differentiate them? So here you've done your culture and then you have mixed growth. Now, is there any specific media to use in such a case and differentiate those mixed growth or mixed microbes?
Well, if you are talking of mixed gram positives, in this case with Staph aureus with other gram positive organisms, you can use selective media. In the case of MRSA, we had talked of the chrome agar. Chrome agar is a selective media that incorporates cefoxitin drug and coloring agents. The cefoxitin drug is supposed to take care of even other Staphylococcus aureus, which are sensitive to the cefoxitin. They should be knocked off the plate, so that mostly you'll be getting only methicillin-resistant organisms. In this case, we don't rule out the other staphylococci. The only difference is now the color. You look for the color that is designated for MRSA for that particular media, because they vary with the companies. You have seen some which give greenish, rather reddish mouth for MRSA. So you also follow the instructions of the manufacturer of the media so that you interpret correctly.
Thank you very much for that. There are some more questions. Simon Wambua is having a comment, and I'll just read it. It's just an addition to what Abhinav has just presented on. He's saying, just to add on what the doctor has said, sterility testing on culture plates or media is confirmed mainly via incubating one of the plate from the batch overnight and check for any growth. Otherwise, even freshly prepared culture media might have contaminants. Thank you. Thank you very much, Simon Omboa, for that addition. It's quite encouraging. Thank you very much for that. I think, I don't know if it's a repetition. Let me read it out. If you had tackled this question before, Mr. Anthony, when detecting MRSA manually, can one use oxacillin alone?
Well, oxacillin is not.
When you're detecting MRSA manually,
yes,
can one use oxacillin only?
No, the WHO does not recommend use of oxacillin for disc diffusion method. Rather, if you have to use oxacillin, then you have to use the MIC method.
Wonderful. This is good. there are quite a number and in that regard, our time has just 1 minute to our time. Thank you very much, each and every one of us. We have actually tackled all the questions and all the concerns. And at this point, I'll really appreciate each and everyone for finding time to participate in this webinar for today. This webinar is KMLTTB accredited, and for those who will have merited to be awarded the 3 CPD points, will receive the points and the certificates within 24 hours after this webinar. And so you'll receive all the communications, even to those who have not merited, you receive communications accordingly. You are welcome to more of our webinars, upcoming webinars. And at this time, LMSK is glad to announce to each and everyone that we have revamped our system. And on our website, I mean, we have created a portal or a module that will be used by all our participants, all the practitioners in healthcare, as far as CPD provision is concerned. And so we will share the link on our WhatsApp groups for each and everyone to register, so that when we'll be subscribing to our webinars, you'll just be doing that at a click of buttons, and you will be set. When you receive the link, kindly just pass it across, share it with your friends so that they can also register. When you use our system, you'll be able to easily join our webinars. You'll be also you'll be able to download your certificates and also view your progress as far as the CPD points provision is concerned, and also for knowledge purposes, for those who might have acquired the limit that MHTB requires, the 50 CPD points, but would like to just continue gaining knowledge, you are welcome, and you will actually track your progress accordingly. So feel welcome. We are very grateful for your presence here. At this point, allow me to give our presenter just a minute or so to give us his final remarks concerning this presentation and the experience as a whole. So, Mr. Anthony, it's your time just to give us a final remarks, just some few words, and then we will end this session. Karibu, Mr. Anthony.
Thank you. I want to start by thanking everybody for giving me an audience. And also to thank the Arab Medicine Society for giving me the opportunity to present this webinar. I'm very happy that we have a forum where we can be able to share such information, because learning never ends, it's continuous. We can enrich one another through such forums. Then mine is to ask each one of us to be proactive, because we generate a lot of useful data, but if it is not made use of, it just remains that data. And what happens when we don't convert that data into information? We are likely to lose it at some point, because after accumulation of data, when you don't make it into information, information can be stored and can remain for many years, but data will be lost when you have, say, destroyed the books, you have destroyed the records. So I would encourage each one of us, now that we have a forum where we can be able to share that information, to kindly take this great opportunity to do that. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Mr. Anthony. We are grateful to our presenters. We are very grateful. On behalf of LMSK, we wish you all the best on this weekend, and we say thank you. And at this time, this moment, we come to a close for this webinar. Thank you, and we wish you a blessed moment ahead.
You too.